All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. Like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What's going on, everyone? This is Nate the Great coming to you live from the All Sports All Plays Network. This is SportsCorner with Statmaster Nate, Ray, and Greg Hot Seat Gallo. So how are the both of you doing?
I'm doing great today. We're getting ready to get it on.
Doing pretty good, Nate. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Before we get started, we do have a couple of ads that we have to take care of. First is Suzanne Paparazzi Jewelry.
Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us, from all of us here at the ASAP Network.
Next up is Misty Meadows. I just want to remind everybody that if you're out there in the comment section, you want to win a free t-shirt. All you have to do is like the show, comment the show, be engaged in the show. The winner at the end of the month wins a free t-shirt. How do you do that? All you have to do is just keep commenting. And what we do is at the end of the month, we tally up all the number of comments. All the number of comments at the end. And the winner is the person who has the most comments. But, say for a second you're driving, you're listening to this through Anchor, or you can't exactly watch the show, you can't exactly comment the show, but you want a t-shirt. All you have to do is pay $14.99 plus shipping and handling. The sizes go from small to 2XL. If you want to wear 3XL, if you want to wear something bigger, that's totally fine. We do have sizes in that as well. It goes up $1 extra. That's no deal at all. It's not a big deal. So let's go right into it. Let's go right into to some of the topics. We're actually going to start in the NBA first. There's been teams out there that have been phenomenal since the NBA trade deadline. There's been teams that have been going in a completely opposite direction. What? We're going to go with Bray. We're going to go with Bray on this one first. Right now, not who we think is going to end up being the top 5 by the end of the season. Right now, who are your top 5 teams? Kind of curious about this. Top 5 teams in the NBA right now.
Right now, we got the Utah Jazz at 38-12. I have the Phoenix Suns following them right now at a close second, and then I have the Nets and the 76ers in my 3rd and 4th. And then my 5th one, we have to go back to the West, and I'm going with the Denver Nuggets. So,
Greg?
Well, I was kind of hating on them when I first started doing this show. But got the Utah Jazz, of course, in there in the top spot, maybe the top two. If you want to factor in Brooklyn right now, they're not playing exactly fantastic basketball right now in Brooklyn, but they're still in the top two. I'd say maybe probably the Suns, and then this one's for you, Nate. We got the Denver Nuggets. They've been on fire, especially since they picked up Aaron Gordon. They haven't lost since they picked him up. So they're playing excellent team basketball. That's really catapulted their defense to a next level, picking up a two-way talent like Aaron Gordon. And then I don't know, it's kind of a toss-up for the 5 spot, either the Bucks or the Sixers, probably to round out the top 5. So you could take pretty much a coin flip on that one.
I see where both of you are coming on here on this one. My number 1 seed, I'm gonna have to agree with everybody. That would be the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz, they're 9-1. They have won. They lost their last game. They lost actually today to the Dallas Mavericks. But that's their only loss of the season. My number 2, I'm actually going to go with Brooklyn. They're 7-3. They won their last game. The one thing I will have to say about this Brooklyn Nets team is one of the games that they lost to Chicago Bulls. Number 3 and number 4 have been a toss-up, and I can't believe I'm saying this about my favorite team, but number 3 and number 4 have been a toss-up. I'm going to put number 3 as Denver, and number 4, this might shock some people, but they've been on a roll. They also haven't lost a game since the All-Star break, and I get it that they're 7th seed right now, but it's the Dallas Mavericks. They won 5 games. They've won the same number of games that they've won the last 5 games. Same with the Suns, same with the Nuggets, and same with those 3 teams have won the last 5 games. So my number 5 is actually the Phoenix Suns. We'll have to say this. I put Dallas as my number 4. What made you not go with Dallas? I'm gonna go with Greg first.
Well, Dallas is playing pretty good basketball. I mean, Luka, he's a generational talent. He's a fantastic all-star overseas talent. I don't know. I just think that I think that the Bucks and Sixers are playing a little bit better team basketball overall. I mean, I would say that the Mavericks are definitely in the mix, but I personally would put them probably closer to like a 7 or 8 spot. I just think that with Embiid's defense and the way that they're kind of clicking offensively in Philly, I just think that either Philly or the Bucks are playing a little bit better basketball right now at this point.
I see that, and to be completely honest with you, the Mavericks haven't won today against the Utah Jazz, 111-103. I wouldn't have put them at my top 5. I'd probably put them top 6, but not top 5. I probably would have put the 76ers in there to make the 76ers as my 5th seed. But we'll go with Bray first. What was your reasons behind not putting the Mavericks in the top 5?
You gotta look at the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns are on a 6-game winning streak. They haven't lost since the Orlando Magic game on March 24th, and they've been playing good basketball. I mean, they last 2 games they beat the Thunder 140-103. The Rockets they beat by only 3 points, but still, I mean, they've been playing good basketball all the way through the whole entire season. It's just not just coming out of the All-Star break. I mean, they've been sitting in the 3 and the 2 and the 3 spots all season long so far. So, I mean, I think the Phoenix Suns is an upcoming team, but, I mean, they're playing good, and that's why I put them at my number 2 spot.
Yeah. So we're actually going to transition a little bit to the NHL and we'll move back to the NBA. The NHL, we're gonna do the top 5 there. Who are your top 5 teams in the NHL right now? We'll go since we started with Ray. We started with Ray last, right?
Yes. Yes.
We'll go with Greg next. Greg.
Well, Nate, we've been talking about this on Friday nights with our hockey talk. You know that I like your boys from Colorado, the Avalanche. I got them probably playing the best hockey right now out of anybody. They won about 15, 16 out of their last 20 games. They're pretty much on fire, playing better hockey than anybody. Then I probably would put like the Florida teams, Tampa Bay, and the Lightning and the Panthers in the mix. I'd like to say that my Islanders would be in there, but I think that they're kind of on a slide right now, and I don't know. I think that the Vegas Knights are playing pretty good, but I think that for the 4 hole, I'd probably put the Carolina Hurricanes in there, and I guess maybe I'd really like to put the Minnesota Wild in there, but I don't think they're quite there yet. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna go with the Washington Capitals in the 5 hole. I mean, it's pretty tough competition. That's a pretty tough top 5. But right now, I have the Knights kind of outside, and I have my Islanders outside the top 5.
We'll go with Ray and texting something real quick.
Okay, I got I have the Florida Panthers at number 1, Colorado Avalanche at number 2, Tampa at number 3, and Washington at 4, and I put my Hurricanes at number 5.
As for me, with my top 5. Colorado, I know this is kind of a little bit of biased statement, but I have Colorado as well at number 1. They're probably doing some of the best hockey. But I've also got the Florida Panthers as number 2. Number 3, I probably got to go with Toronto, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Number 4, number 5 are toss up, but I got to go Capitals and Islanders as my 4 and 5. Capitals at 4, Islanders at 5. They've been on a roll. Really, the only reason why I put Capitals on over the Islanders is how well they've done in the last 10 games. Capitals won their last 7 of their last 10. The Islanders won 6 of their last 10. So that's why. Now, transitioning to the playoff picture. I'm gonna share the screen real quick. I'm gonna share a screen real quick. But any thoughts? Any thought about the NHL? Do you have any bold takes about where any team will land?
Let me see here.
We'll go with Greg. We'll actually go with Greg first.
Okay, you broke up a little bit on me, Nate. I didn't hear the question.
Do you have any bold takes on where any team will land in the NHL playoff picture?
Well, on Fridays I talk about my time traveling abilities. I still think that Toronto's going to make a pretty good run, but I'm kind of on the bubble if they're going to make it all the way to the Stanley Cup because they haven't played any of the American teams, so it's hard to really see exactly where they are. I still think that they're probably a top 10 team, so I had them going pretty far. But I think that my bold prediction, I said it on Friday night, last Friday, that your boy McKinnon's going to be holding up the Stanley Cup trophy when it's all said and done. I think that Denver is going to go all the way. I'd love to see that my Islanders would make a pretty good run, but they haven't really done anything yet. Too much with the free agent market and that injury to Anders Lee with his torn ACL. That's just devastating to the team because he was setting it, lighting it up on fire offensively. So I think that my Islanders are going to once again come up a little short. I think that Denver's going to go all the way. I don't know exactly who's going to go on the other side. It's probably going to be a toss-up between Carolina and Tampa Bay, but we'll see.
Okay, not that we're any much better. I'm a big BYU fan, so I'm enjoying that Gonzaga is not doing so well right now. Is that the final score? Is the final score? Is that the game over?
No.
Right. So what's the score right now? Can you give the score?
We had a commercial right now. So
Okay.
soon as I come back, I'll give you the score.
Okay. So I'm actually going to pull up. I'm going to pull up the playoff picture right now. Gonna actually cover a little bit of the North. You have Senators at the bottom, then the Flames, Canucks, Canadians, Jets, Oilers, or Maple Leafs. Do you think the Canucks will make that fourth seed, or do you think it's going to stick to the Canadians? We'll go with Greg.
Well, I just think that the Canucks are starting to show signs of life just a little bit too late. I think that they're going to come up a little bit short, but I think the Coach Green, I think his job is safe now because they're starting to show some signs of life. I don't know if he put in a new system or what, but they seem to be playing better defense. They seem to be playing a lot more fluid offensively. But I just think that the Canadians are probably going to be able to hold on to this 6-point lead that they got right now. I do like what the Canucks are starting to do over there, but I just think that the fire got lit a little bit too late for them, I believe.
Okay. Ray, we'll go with you. Who do you think that they have a shot at making the fourth seed, the Canucks here? Do you think that that's where they're gonna land? Do you think that they're not gonna make the playoffs this year?
Well, in my North Division matchups, I have the number 1 seed is the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the number 4 Montreal Canadiens, and then I have the number 2 Winnipeg Jets versus the Edmonton Oilers. So that's my 1, 2, 3, and 4 seed. So I have the Canadians hanging on by a thread for that number 4 seed.
All right. So we'll transfer to the East actually. Buffalo Sabres. As you can see, that number 1 seed is gone for them. They're not going to the playoffs, but I just pointing that out there. Now, between the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Islanders, and the Capitals, who do you think will actually make it up on top? We'll go with Ray.
I have the number 4 seed. I have the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then I have the Washington Capitals at the number 2, and number 3 I have the Boston Bruins and New York Islanders at number 1 in the East Division matchup. And out of that, I have Pittsburgh winning 4-3 over the Islanders, and then I have the Capitals winning 4-2 over the Boston Bruins. So,
Greg, I'll tell you what, this is one of the strongest conferences in the NHL. I mean, just look at the Caps, the Islanders, and the Penguins all there. First, second, and third, all within just a few points of each other. I think that the Capitals are going to do just enough to stay ahead of my Islanders, unless my Islanders can pull off a big trade or a big deal coming up in free agency at the trade deadline. So unless the Islanders can really make something happen, I think that the Caps are going to hold them off. I also think that the Penguins may surpass my Islanders. So I think that it may go with the Capitals, Penguins, Islanders, and then, I'm not really confident right now with what Boston's doing. So I don't know. I think that maybe even the Flyers may have a chance to get to them, but I think at
Yeah.
this point I'm going to stick with the Bruins holding on to that 4th spot. But I really don't feel very confident in the Bruins right now at all. I mean, they were on fire here a month ago, and now they're collapsing.
Yeah, I don't feel confident in this team. We're actually going. That leads into the next question here. Ray, I actually want your opinion on it. Do you think that the Flyers, the Bruins, that they're not going to make it, or do you think they still they're sitting at the 4th seed, but do you still think that's where they land?
Well, it all depends on their scheduling and how they're going to play out the last few when the remainder of the season. But right now, I think they could either move up to that 3rd spot or keep that 4th spot. It's just the way it's just the way the schedule is for the Bruins is going to have to pan out here for them to make that transition up to the 3rd, or if they're going to maintain that 4th seed calculation. But right now, I have the Bruins picking up on that 3rd spot in that division. So it depends on how the team performs in the last few weeks of the season for them to put the pressure on to keep that 4th seed. So I mean, it's NHL is a grind. It's just a grind. The whole season is a power hitting league, and I mean, you gotta have that fortitude. I mean, injuries gonna play a lot of parts too, but I mean, I think the Bruins have a deep enough team to keep them, and I think they're gonna move up to that 3rd spot. They won't be in that 4th spot. They'll probably move up to that 3rd spot.
Now let's transition to this next division here, and we're gonna go to the Central. Red Wings are at the bottom. Blue Jackets, then the Stars, then the Blackhawks, then the Predators, Hurricanes, Lightning, and Panthers. Going from bottom to last to first here. Do you think any of that's actually going to change? Now, the Stars, they moved up a spot. They've been sitting either at last or second to last for a while. Now the third. Now the third to last. It's not really going to matter. I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they might, maybe, I don't think they will make it, but I think they do have a shot at making that final seed. Do you agree, Ray? And do you agree that they have a shot at it? Let's go with that. I don't think they're going to make it, but do you think that they have a shot?
I mean, all teams has a shot for it, but can they just move up? Can they keep playing good hockey and moving up in that, keep going in the right direction? But right now, we're looking at the Blackhawks, who's now spiraling. They have 4 losses in the last 5 games. So if the Blackhawks starts moving down, then that'll give the under teams underneath them times to move up. But it's just all about who's coming in hot and at the right time. And right now, the Blackhawks seem like they're starting to lose their grips on their holds of their playoffs. So,
All right. Greg?
I'd really like to see the Blackhawks make a move. Kane had been playing lights out. I mean, he was in contention, not necessarily for MVP, but probably, in the top 3, 4 candidates for MVP as well as he's been playing this season. And they've also got a boost from their goalkeeping, which has helped them because on paper they're not a very good team, but here they are fighting for a 4th spot. They're only a couple points back. I know that their percentage to get into the 4th spot is under 30%. But I don't know, if the Predators have a couple bad games, Blackhawks play a couple decent games, anything could happen. So I'd love to see the Blackhawks make a move, but I think that it's probably going to stay. This is a very tough division. I think that the Hurricanes, I think the Rays Hurricanes are probably going to be more set up for a deeper playoff run than any of these other teams. The Panthers and the Lightnings. I just think that the Hurricanes are a special team. But all these teams, this is a very tough division too, because 3 out of the 5 teams that we mentioned are in this division, the top 5 teams right now, with the Panthers and the Lightning and the Hurricanes. So it's going to be a hard division to get out of. But so I don't know. I think that the Panthers right now, they have a 2-point lead, but I think that anything could change. One great week from the Hurricanes, and they could be sitting at top. So I think that the top 4 teams are going to remain as is. The order, I don't know. I'd love to see the Blackhawks pull it out and make a run, but I don't know. I think that the reality is setting in that they're going to fall a little bit short. But they've come a lot farther than I thought they would this season.
Yeah.
Let me give you an update real quick. Baylor just won the national championship. Gonzaga lost their first game tonight.
Yes.
It wasn't even close. It was 80. It was 86-70.
I knew it. They were in a choke. I knew it.
No net for Mark Theo. Oh boy.
Yep.
I brought my championship net out. I wanted
So
to tease Mark.
So that makes Gonzaga what 0-2 in the national championship game.
I'm sorry, Greg. You said his name is Mark Few.
Huh?
You said his name is Mark Few.
No, I said no net, no championship net for Coach Mark Few.
Yeah, Mark Few. That was his name.
Yeah.
Well, he was just more than a few marks get away from winning the championship.
Yeah.
Sorry, the bullet pun. Anyway, let's get right back onto the topic. Let's go to the West, the Western Conference here. You have the Ducks on top. Flip that. The Ducks on bottom. The Ducks sunk. The Kings, the Sharks, the Blues, the Coyotes, the Wild, the Golden Knights, and the Avalanche. Avalanche are currently sitting on top. They're probably going to take that top seed. No question about that. Now, second and third, Golden Knights and Wild. Do you think Golden Knights are going to stay on top, or do you think it's second, or do you think it's going to be the Wild? We'll go to Greg.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I really wanted to throw a shout out to Brandon Herrera, because I know that something's good has to come out of Minnesota. And I think that Minnesota is an up and coming team. I do think that they're going to fall a little bit short. I think that the Golden Knights are a much better team at this point than the Wild. But the Wild, they're going to be an incredible team to watch over the next few years. They got Kaprizov, outstanding rookie, going to be rookie of the year most likely, lighting it on fire. They got an incredibly young team with very fast skaters. But I think that the Golden Knights team is a little bit more experienced, and I think they're going to hold off and keep that second spot over the Wild. So I'm sorry, Brandon, but I'm just calling it the way I see it.
John said makes a bold prediction. He said that the Sharks could possibly make the 4th spot. Been playing good the last couple of games. I can't see it. I mean, I can, but I can't. I can't see that. I don't think they will. Do y'all disagree? We'll go, Ray. We'll go with you.
Well, I have Minnesota holding that 4th spot. I have Vegas holding the 2 spot, and I have the Avalanche holding the 1 spot, and I have the St. Louis team holding that 3rd spot. So, I mean, that's what I got right now.
Do you think Coyotes are going to make it? Do you think they're going to fall short?
They're going to fall short. I think St. Louis is going to it's going to maintain it. It's going to hold that third spot, and then the Wilds is going to hold off everybody else for that fourth spot. The first and second seeds are already. I think Vegas got the second seed, and Avalanche has got that first seed already locked up. So you're battling for that third and fourth seed, and I think St. Louis is going to hold on to that, and the Wild's just going to hold off everybody else for that fourth seed.
Okay. Let's transition.
Well, I think that John may be onto something. John may be onto something because the Sharks have been playing well. They won 6 out of their last 8 games. They won like 4 or 5 games in a row, I believe. So I mean, anything can happen. So I'd be a little bit nervous if I was the Coyotes because you got the Blues and the Sharks kind of breathing down their necks. I think between the Sharks and the Blues at this point, I would probably say between the two to make the most realistic run towards the fourth place, I'd probably put the Sharks ahead just because they've been on fire the last week and a half, 2 weeks. But as we know in hockey, everything changes pretty much week by week.
Yeah.
Power rankings and everything. So it's a hard-hitting, fast-paced game, and anything can happen. But John may not be wrong on this one. The Sharks are showing signs of life, and they've really been impressive the last 8 games or so.
Yeah, as you said in hockey, things can change, week by week. We know there's certain things that are probably going to happen, but there's only one thing that we can confirm for sure, and that's it's that the Buffalo Sabres will not launch the first seed. Sorry, I had to get my old ways there. About being a playoff. So let's go in and talk a little bit about the NBA. NBA playoff picture here. We'll go to the East. You have in order Sixers, Nets, Bucks, Heat, Hawks, Hornets, Knicks, Celtics, Pacers, and Bulls, and barely falling short, Raptors, Wizards, Cavaliers, Magic, and Pistons. I just want to say one thing towards this Toronto Raptors team. Not a lot of people agree with me on this, but I think getting rid of Norman Powell was a mistake for the Toronto Raptors. B, they should have gotten rid of Kyle Lowry. But we'll go with Greg. What are your thoughts on this Toronto Raptors team?
Well, I know that we've talked about it before about how well the Raptors have been playing without Lowry in the lineup, and are they a better team? Should they get rid of Lowry? What should they do? Lowry is an incredible player, and I don't know if it's necessarily they were playing because he was playing so well because he was gone. Because I think that they're a better team with him, definitely with his offensive talents and everything. But the Raptors, I don't know. They just, a few years ago they were NBA champs, and now they don't even have 20 wins at this point. And I don't know. They don't seem to really be playing very well in sync. And as we've seen over the past month, 2 months, it seems like the most time that they play in sync is without Lowry. But they're a hard team to understand. I don't get it. They had all the tools. I know that they lost Kawhi Leonard and Gasol and everything, but they still got Van Vliet over there. He's a really good point guard. I just don't get the Raptors, because they had some really good tools. So I really don't know what to say about them. But I don't know. I think that they're probably going to move on to a few other key pieces. I don't know if they're going to rebuild or not, but I think they're going to cash in on a few players that they think that they might be able to trade and get some value for when the season's done.
Yeah. Ray, what are your thoughts on this team?
The Raptors. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Kyle Lowry's he's their leader, but in the last they've been playing better without him in the lineup. I mean, I think they should have. I agree with it. I think they should have kept Powell and got rid of Lowry when you can. I mean, you're gonna come at the end of the season. Can you be able to trade, Kyle Lowry at the end of the season? I don't think he doesn't have the value because he's going to be more of a bench player now because he's getting older, and he's looked like he's lost a few steps myself. Fred VanVleet has been playing remarkably at the point guard position, and you guys still got Pascal Siakam, who's doing pretty good. But I mean, Powell was your defensive guy. I mean, he was the guy that was playing more of a defense. It was really carrying the defensive side of the team. So to me, I think they should have kept Powell and got rid of Lowry myself. I think this team is gonna have to start back. It's gonna have to rebuild, and I don't think Kyle Lowry is gonna be part of this rebuild.
Yeah. The next team I wanted to talk about, they're actually sitting better than the Pistons, but they're doing worse than everybody else. The Orlando Magic. NBA trade deadline, they just basically blew everything up. They tore everything basically they tore everything into confetti. Uh, you know, I was their intentions just to get draft picks, honestly. Go with Ray.
Well, the Orlando Magic, you got to look at it here. They got a young nucleus in Cole Anthony. Um, he's their young player who they're gonna probably try to build the team around him and Mohamed Bama at the center position, and then you still got your Terrence Ross who's getting older. You still got Jonathan Isaac who's a incredible young player. Then you got Wendell Clark Jr. at your center spot, who's a young guy. So I think they went back and I think they went and got rid of certain pieces of their franchise, and now they're trying to rebuild. And getting the draft picks, like I said, you're gonna rebuild through the draft. So they're gonna get more young key players. But I wouldn't pass. There's could be a rebuilding. Next 2 years could be a rebuilding year for Clifford as the head coach and stuff like that. So, I mean, to me, I think Orlando just look like they want to tear it down and build younger. And they got some key opponents, got some key people. But to me, I think they're going to need a little bit more help. And if they don't do nothing during the offseason this year, they're going to have another season like they did this year.
Greg?
Yeah, I'll tell you, you pretty much they got rid of their two best players at the trade deadline. I mean,
Aaron Gordon.
I don't know why you would get rid of a two-way talent like Aaron Gordon, but I'm pretty sure that you're pretty happy about that, aren't you, Nate?
Yeah. But I'm not just talking about Aaron Gordon here. I'm talking about Vucevic as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got rid of their two best players. They got rid of Vucevic. That I mean, he was a stud. I mean, he was an up and coming. I mean, he was going to be pretty much a consistent all star for years to come. You had Aaron Gordon, fantastic two-way player, exciting player, can play above the rim, excellent on ball defender. A great teammate, sets up other people for good looks. I mean, what else could you look for it? I know that they picked up Markelle Fultz, and he's been playing a lot better than he did when he first came into the Sixers, and he's been getting healthier and starting to get better with his jump shot and everything. But I don't know. It looks like they're just, for some reason they had some pieces and they were starting to build, and then they just kind of tore it down. And I don't know what they're going for. I don't know if they're looking for a coaching change. I really don't know what they're doing, but they had two really good pieces set in place, and I thought that they were going to be an upcoming team, and then they just blew the whole thing up. So I'm really disappointed in the Magic, but I understand that sometimes when you're not competing well and everything. Maybe they thought that they'd just get more draft capital in the long run. I don't know what their thinking is, but yeah, the Magic they really haven't been an outstanding basketball team for quite some time, and I think that mismanagement, along with like the Timberwolves, is the reason why they just haven't done very well for the past 10, 15 years.
And to answer your question, John Suggs, I honestly think he's going to be gone by the end of the season. I know that they've been doing okay. They've been doing okay. But he's been in there for 18 years, and he's had one championship win.
I really think that Brad Stevens should have taken the Indiana job when it was thrown at him. Honestly, I think that going back to college would have been a great avenue for him. He's already familiar with the state. He had great success at Butler. He's a decent NBA coach, but he's had so much talent, so many draft picks and top draft picks over the years, and just can't quite get over the hump. I think that a move back to college would have been great for him.
I think really this is a win or bust year for Brad Stevens. I think if he doesn't make it, even if he loses in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think it's gonna be, if he loses in the Eastern Conference Finals, it's still gonna be a bust for Brad Stevens. But Ray, what are your thoughts on him before we go on to the next topic?
Well, to me, I think Brad Stevens should have gone back to college. He had the opportunity, like you said, for Indiana, but you know, I don't think he's going to be gone after this season. I think Danny Ainge will hold him around for probably another year, maybe, to see how he can do through the draft and see if they can keep this team competitive. I mean, they still got a young team. They still got a young-hearted team. I mean, they still got Jason Tatum as their star player. And then they got pieces already there. I mean, they started off with some of the injury bugs at the beginning of the season. That's put them behind right now. So I think Boston has the pieces, and Brad Stevenson, I think he still can coach. But to me, I think I give him another year. We get a couple more draft picks in here and see what they can do. And see what they can do through the free agency. See if they can pick up another key player. But I don't think he's on the hot seat this year. I think he'll be on the hot seat next year.
Okay. The last team I wanted to touch, and then we'll go to the Western Conference, was actually the Chicago Bulls. A lot of people, including myself, liked what they did in the trade deadline, getting a Nikola Vucevic. I think they're one of the teams that won the NBA trade deadline, but then they go up on a losing streak. Did the stuff that we've been seeing about this Bulls team? Am I wrong about this team, or they just couldn't find the chemistry? We'll go with Ray.
Well, the Bulls team at the beginning, before the trade deadline, I mean, they had the good point guard in Kobe White. They got a young nucleus in Kobe White. They got Zach LaVine in the backcourt. I mean, Zach LaVine's been picking up pretty good this year. I think with Adam at the trade deadline, I think the team is getting better. They're on a 1-game winning streak right now. They're 20-28. They're sitting at the 10th spot. They're 2 games behind the 9th spot of the Indiana Pacers. But then they're only 4 games behind the 6th spot of the Hornets. So, I mean, if Vucevic and all them come together and get that nucleus right at the point, they can peak at the right time and make it right into the playoffs. I mean, the Hornets are going to fall a little bit more because they don't have their Melo Ball is out for the season. So, I mean, Hayward's only going to carry you to a certain point. I don't think he can carry you all the way up into that playoff spot. So, I mean, the Hornets could potentially by the end of May, if the Hornets can't, hold on to that sixth spot, you might see the Hornets fall out right out of the playoff spot due to the fact that LaMelo Ball is not there. I mean, LaMelo Ball is their engine. So, I mean, Chicago can pick it up, and, I mean, Vudovic can carry a team to basically into the playoffs. So, I mean, for the Chicago Bulls, the chemistry wasn't there at the beginning of the season. They started getting the chemistry. Your backcourt is still pretty good in White and Levine, but they had to get some presence up in that front court. So they did with Vudovic, and he can bring your centers out to the 3-point line. So I mean, you got to understand the concept of what the Bulls trying to do. I don't think the Bulls could do what they need to do this year, but they need to build through the draft a little bit more and add some more pieces around Vudovic and Zach LaVine and Kobe White. This will be an up and coming team in the next 2 to 3 years.
Greg?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm not quite sure if the chemistry's off right now with Chicago. If there's one guy that can really get a team to play together, it's Billy Donovan. Coach Donovan, he did an excellent job with my Oklahoma City Thunder a year ago, getting them into the playoffs and just, they didn't have much to work with, but he seemed to get them to all buy into playing well with each other, having great teamwork and everything. So I don't think that the Bulls are going to go really anywhere this season. But, yeah, picking up Vucek and, having Colby White in there. Markkanen can stretch the floor out, hit some good threes. He's a pretty good jump shooting big man, can hit some outside shots. They've got Thaddeus Young in there. They got some pretty good defensive talent. They got Levine in there. So, like Ray was saying, if they can get a decent draft pick in the next year or so and maybe get rid of a few guys that aren't really contributing all that well and make some room for some better players, I think they're going to be a team to look out for because they are pretty young. And I think that it's just a matter of time, these players that just came in the trade deadline, I think they're going to gel pretty quickly. Aaron Gordon, he's tearing it up right now with Denver. They haven't lost a game since he's been in there, but other players that have been traded at the trade deadline might take a little bit longer to kind of cohabitate with the rest of the team since they've been playing with somebody else halfway through the season. So it's just a matter of time before it starts clicking with the Bulls. But I really like what Billy Donovan's doing. They are kind of on a losing streak right now, but I think that next season you're going to see a much better performance from the Bulls with Levine and Vucek in there working together.
All right, so let's transition from the Eastern Conference to the Western Conference. You have the Timberwolves last. You have the Rockets. You have the Thunder. You have the Kings. You have Pelicans. Teams probably won't be able to make the playoffs. 2 playing games are probably standing at this point: the Spurs and the Warriors. And then the rest of the teams are the Grizzlies, the Mavericks, the Trailblazers, the Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, Suns, and Jazz. Looking at this, right here, I guess my first question really is, with the Lakers, with LeBron hurt, with AD hurt, where do you see and how did they? I get that they got an Andre Drummond, but do you honestly think that would be enough that can push the Lakers up to maybe a playoff scenario? Ray, I know you're shaking your head already, but
well, if you look at the Lakers here, the Lakers, they destroyed the Sacramento Kings on April 2nd, but then they lost to the LA Clippers 104-86 yesterday. And then they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks on the March 31st, 112-97. But I mean, you got to understand LeBron and Anthony Davis, when are they coming back? I heard some report says in 2 weeks. I have some report says not to the beginning of May. So, I mean, if LeBron don't make it back and Anthony Davis don't make it back before the season, before May, you might see the Lakers get pushed right out of the playoff spots. I mean, the team is not that good without those two key opponents. And that's what that's fool's gold, because when you got the Lakers and you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and if they're not playing, then this team is none but full goals. I mean, this team is really helpless without those two. Those two are the nucleus of the Lakers. And like I said, if they can't make it back before May, the Lakers could end up right out of the playoff spots.
Greg, where do you see the Lakers ending without LeBron and AD, even though they have an Andre Drummond?
Well, I think that the Lakers are going to make the playoffs, but I do think that the Trailblazers may surpass them in the standings. I think that the Mavericks may have a chance to catch up to them in the standings. I mean, you're talking about Anthony Davis. He's not just a fantastic team player, but he's an all-around player. He's a great offensive player, but he's an even better defensive player. Mm-hmm. And when you have an outstanding player like that, that's can get you, 20 plus points a night, but is also always in contention for first team all defense or defensive player of the year. I mean, you really got something there. So I'd say that Anthony Davis's absence is even more glaring than LeBron's. I'm not trying to take anything away from LeBron, but Anthony Davis, I mean, with his rebounding, with his defensive presence, his defensive tenacity, everything that he brings to that team, offensively and defensively, I mean, it's a huge hole to fill. I do think that the Lakers are still going to hold on and play just good enough to get into the playoffs. But Ray was right. I mean, without those two players, or even just without one, that team really is like Ray said, fool's gold. I mean, LeBron and Anthony Davis are the heart and soul of that team. And, Anthony Davis coming over is pretty much, probably over 90% of the reason why they got a championship ring last year, because that was a huge piece that they were missing was an outstanding rebounder, defensive presence, and just another guy that go along hand in hand with LeBron James out on the court. So with either one of those two absent on the floor, yeah, the Lakers aren't going to go too far.
Then the other team I wanted to talk about when we go on to the last topic, the Portland Trailblazers. I think they definitely improved, adding in a Norman Powell, adding in the key additions that they've added. I guess my only question is, though, do you think that Aaron Gordon would have been a better fit for this Portland Trailblazers team, and Norman Powell would have been a better fit for Denver? Go, Craig.
Well, I can answer this. I can answer this for you, Nate. I think you're going to be much happier with Aaron Gordon in a Nuggets uniform than if Aaron Gordon was in a Trailblazers uniform. Okay. Aaron Gordon may have fit really well with Damian Lillard and CJ McCullough with the Blazers, and he would have given them more defensive depth. And they're all pretty young over there. And that would have been a pretty good backcourt for the Blazers. But I think that he's a great fit with Denver. He's really working well off the post. And Murray and him are kind of going hand in glove right now. And I don't know. I think that Powell is a good fit. I think that Aaron Gordon's probably a better fit with Denver. I mean, they haven't missed a beat. They haven't lost since he's came over, and they seem to be clicking right away. So I think that it was a great move for Denver to go get Aaron Gordon. He's a two-way player, and I think he's probably a better fit because he works off of Jokic so well, sets up pretty good assists for Jokic, and he can help out defensively. And the Nuggets are playing hard-nosed basketball right now, and that's what they need is Aaron Gordon. So I like where Aaron Gordon ended up, and I'm sure you are too, right, Nate?
Yeah, I am. All right. So this goes on to this last topic. Now I'm gonna give my thoughts on this first. Actually, Ray, I don't think you gave your thoughts on the Aaron Gordon thing. So,
Well, like y'all saying, Eric Gordon's a better fit in Denver than he would be with Portland, and I think Norman Powell is a better fit in Portland than he was if he went to Denver. So I mean, Portland was looking for a defensive stopper. They got that in Norman Powell, and then you got your Eric Gordon who likes to run down the court. So like I said, the different styles in Portland and Denver. I think the two players are a perfect fit with where they went to.
all right. We'll go to this last topic. What's the last topic here? And we're actually going to be talking about Sam Darnold. He actually got traded. He's a Carolina Panther. I know we covered a little bit about this in Real Talk, but I guess, my question is, what does that mean for the rest of the league? That's really what we're going to be talking about. Not particularly about that trade, but what does that mean for the rest of the league? We're talking about Teddy Bridgewater. That's the guy that was the Carolina Panthers quarterback before Sam Darnold. So, I'm gonna actually give my thoughts on this first. I think that Teddy Bridgewater is going to be a Jet. He's actually they're gonna swap positions. Only because I think that he can give some veteran presence in that locker room. I think he would be a better fit for whatever quarterback they draft, which is probably going to be Zach Wilson. So I actually would prefer Teddy Bridgewater became a New York Jets QB. So and I know you're shaking your head, Ray. So what do you have on that?
As of right now, the reports are coming out of Carolina that is that they're trying to work on a deal to restructure Teddy Bridgewater's deal to keep him in Carolina to battle Sam Donald. So that's what you're looking at right now. I mean, Carolina, they only gave up a 6th-round pick and a 2nd and a 4th-round pick in 2022 for Donald. But see, I'm gonna tell you what made this trade go in. The head coach for the Carolina Panther role, he went up to New York Jets and interviewed for the job. He really liked Sam Donald as the quarterback. So he's seen the way to get him at a cheaper price than what the Jets really wanted to. But Jets were never going. Jets were looking to get a first round upgrade pick type deal in the later of the first round, and they were never going to get that with Sam Donald at in that price. So basically, Carolina just went up there and gave him a bunch of potato chips here. Say, hey, I will give you a 6th round in 2021 and a 2nd and 4th round pick in 2022 for him. I mean, that to me that just slapped. That should really show you the value of Sam Donald as the quarterback. So will it now change of scenery could help him out? Yes. He might be a better fit in Carolina than he would with the Jets under Matt Rule as the Carolina Panthers head coach. I mean, like I said, a change of scenery could really help him. I don't think he was really a good fit for the Jets up there because of the media. You're playing the big city market. especially in the New York media, you do something wrong, they crucify you, and they already crucified him at the beginning of his career. So I mean, he admitted seeing ghosts. So I mean, you got to understand his psychology, his psyche. Up in New York, it was not really tailored for that. He coming out of California, USC. How many USC quarterbacks has done pretty good in the NFL? Not too many. And so I mean, to me, I think he might be a better fit in the Carolina offense. You never
Oh, I
know.
think he will be a better fit. There's no might. I think he will be a better fit in the Carolina offense. I mean, he actually has a running back.
Yeah, but
he does get what's that guy's name?
Anderson. He gets Anderson back as his wide receiver. So he's got familiarity with him, But I mean, Carolina's still gonna have to go out and get another big play threat in the wide receiver spot for him, and they still got to store up that offensive line a little bit. I mean, the offensive line is still a little weak, but other than that, I think he'd probably be a better fit in Carolina. And like you said, you got a good running back in McCaffrey. So I mean, he's got building blocks there. He's got more building blocks in Carolina than he would with the Jets.
And John, don't be surprised. I mean, I don't think they might this year, but don't be surprised if they do. I think he could be, if not this year, maybe next year, making it to the playoffs. Super Bowl? No. Playoffs? Probably. With that division in there, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a wild card spot. So, Greg, what are your thoughts on this trade? Where do you see any predictions about quarterbacks? There's might be still left on the market.
Well, I'll tell you what. Just watching Carolina go after Sam Darnold tells me a lot that, Carolina was another team that seemed to at one point be interested in Deshaun Watson. That seems like Deshaun Watson is out another suitor. I'm not saying that Sam Darnold is as good as Deshaun Watson, but I think that, they're unloading picks to get Sam Darnold kind of shows that they're probably going to be happy with having those two, Bridgewater and Darnold, competing for a starting job. So I think that as the market's starting to dry up for Deshaun Watson, I think that Deshaun Watson wants out of Texas, Houston really bad. That I don't really foresee it happening. I think that the well's starting to dry up on him. He's got a whole bunch of legal issues and allegations going on, and a lot of teams are kind of lukewarm, if that, pretty much going pretty cold on wanting to pursue him. The 49ers, they made a big trade to move up into the 3 spot, so it looks like they're going to move on. It looked like that would have been a perfect fit for Watson too, but it looks like they're just going to go after a top college quarterback in the draft now at this point. Mm-hmm. So Sam Darnold, I really feel bad for Sam Darnold, but I feel like Sam Darnold was kind of in the same situation as Carson Wentz. Philadelphia and New York are extremely tough places to play, and the fan base is extremely hard on quarterbacks. And I think that a change of scenery to Indianapolis for Carson Wentz was probably a good deal. I think that they're not going to razz him too much. And I think that a change of scenery for Sam Darnold is going to suit him well. As long as he can get a consistent feel for an offensive coordinator. I mean, you're not going to fit in very well, regardless of what city you're playing in, if you're going through a different offensive coordinator every single season. And I think that was part of the issue with Sam Darnold, is he didn't have much consistency with either head coaching or offensive coordinators. So that's a hard thing when you have such a chaotic structure within the coaching infrastructure, it makes it hard for a quarterback to be successful. But I am glad to see him moving on. I really thought that a smart play for the Jets would be to hold on to Darnold and trade that, and then trade down to get more top draft picks in this draft, and trade their number 2 pick and go down a few spots and maybe pick up, a great linebacker or, a great offensive tackle or something like that, and then pick up some more draft picks. But they're not doing that. It looks like they're going to go after either Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. But like Ray said, Sam Darnold, he probably just wasn't a great fit in a Jets uniform, and Carolina is a lot more relaxed city, to play in than where Carolina plays is a lot more relaxed than New York City. So I think it'll be a good fit for him. Good change of scenery for him.
All right. So this has been Nate the Great, Brandon, and Greg signing out for now. We see you guys actually on Thursday with Thursday Full Count.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. Like working your faces. Grace at the field, so time for laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.